Sports psychologists who study World Cup champions have concluded something that the entire football industry doesn't want to hear. The thing that separates the best players from everyone else has almost nothing to do with talent, training, or even experience. They have identified 3 specific psychological patterns that keep showing up in the world's greatest competitors: mental signatures. Either you have them or you don't. And honestly, the most interesting part of all this is that you might already have all 3 of them without ever knowing it, which would mean you've been walking around with the mindset of a World Cup champion this whole time. So, I think it's time for you to find out. Let's start with the first pattern. Number 1, the midnight replay. You are the person who goes home after a setback, any setback, and runs the tape in your head for hours. Your friends shake it off by dinner time. You're still analyzing at midnight. What went wrong? What could I have done differently? What would I change? People around you have probably called this overthinking, and you've probably believed them at some point. But here's what the science actually says. Researchers studying elite athletes call this mental simulation and self-regulation, and it's one of the most consistent psychological markers of high performance. Your brain refuses to leave unfinished business alone, not because you're anxious, but because you are wired to improve. Champions don't move on, they move through. And that matters more than you think, because the second sign reveals something about pressure that most people read completely backwards. Number 2, you're fine under fire. And honestly, I really admire this kind of mindset. When the stakes go up, you go inward. Most people get louder under pressure. They panic, they talk more, they need reassurance from everyone around them. But you go still, you get focused. The room gets chaotic and something in you just sharpens. Sports psychologists call this controlled attentional narrowing, and it's precisely what happens in the mind of a player standing at the penalty spot in a World Cup final with 100 million people watching. While the crowd is screaming and everyone on the bench is losing it, the champion finds a pocket of silence inside themselves. If that's something you recognize in yourself, you are not cold or emotionally unavailable. Your nervous system is just built for moments most people aren't built for. And that brings us perfectly to the last pattern, because this is the one that gets misread as a personality flaw almost every single time. Number 3, you take the underdog advantage. This one is genuinely underrated. You are actually authentically comfortable with people not expecting much from you, not performing humility, not fishing for compliments by playing small, genuinely at ease when you fly under the radar. Champions know something the average person never figures out. The underestimated person controls the narrative. Nobody's watching too closely. Nobody's loading expectations onto your shoulders, and you can build quietly and move precisely without interference. Psychologists who study high performers call this strategic low-profile orientation, and the data on elite athletes shows that some of the most dominant competitors in history actively preferred to be doubted, right up until the moment they made it impossible to ignore them. So, if you replay moments obsessively, go quiet under pressure, and are genuinely fine with being the underdog, I want you to hear something clearly. That's not a collection of quirks. It's the psychological fingerprint researchers keep finding in people who perform when everything is on the line. Your brain is not wired for ordinary. It is wired for the moment everyone else falls apart. And now that you know it, if this video resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And don't miss this video right here to learn more about minds like yours. I'll see you there.